Take a look at this man right here. That is Christian Castro. Now, Christian Castro is an ICE agent. He was arrested for his role in a shooting during Operation Metro Surge, as we know from this operation.
For weeks, networks of volunteers have sprung up across the Twin Cities to bring supplies to community members who fear that even venturing to a grocery store could lead to their arrest, as part of the massive federal immigration crackdown known as Operation Metro Surge.
I received a message from a teacher saying my student had a glass of water for dinner. So that to me was heartbreaking.
At other hospitals, there are reports of federal agents staying bedside with detainees and trying to question or arrest patients.
I'm a physician!
I don't understand.
Bystanders also said officers prevented doctors from trying to treat Renee Good and Alex Pretty right after they were shot.
It was where ICE agents invaded Minneapolis and the surrounding areas to go after black and brown people, up their quotas, benefit core civic and geo group, and really, I say this objectively, leave a terrible stain on this country. Now here's what gets me. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the former VP selection of Kamala Harris, sent a letter to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Why did he do this? Because Abbott refuses to release the prisoner. Now that seems fishy, doesn't it? You know, I hear about Republicans being the law and order people. Why exactly is Greg Abbott, in a way, protecting an ICE officer who has been charged? Imagine what Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, The Five, Brian Kilmeade would say if the roles were reversed. Just imagine. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office released this to the public. Mr. Castro was charged with 4 counts of second-degree assault and 1 count of falsely reporting a crime for an incident on January 14, 2026, when he discharged his weapon through the front door of a home, knowing there were people who had just run inside. The bullet traveled through the door and struck one victim in the leg before making its impact in the wall of a child's home. I'm sorry, in the wall of a child's room? A reckless ICE agent, according to Minneapolis prosecutors, fired into the wall of a kid's room, and you want me to believe these people who have basically just run amok? There is no oversight whatsoever. You want me to believe that these people are pro-life? You want me to believe that they believe in the nuclear family? Are you joking?
So here's what the Hennepin County attorney says happened. She says this basically all started with a case of mistaken identity. ICE was trying to track down one person, but by mistake, they ended up tracking down a man named Alfredo Alhorna. They were chasing him through the streets and highways in Minneapolis. He ended up jumping out of his car and running toward a home in that North Minneapolis neighborhood where his cousin, Julio Cesar Sosa Solis, was standing. So this ICE agent runs after Alfredo. He encountered both men. There was this brief struggle. Then Julio and Alfredo ran inside, and that's when the Hennepin County attorney says the ICE agent shot into the home, endangering the people inside, which included children, and injuring Julio. The Hennepin County attorney says that the ICE agent, Christian Castro, was never under any kind of threat before the shooting or during the shooting, and that's why they're filing charges.
The feds tried to make Julio out to be a villain, a criminal, a man the public should absolutely fear. You know, not an ICE agent, but Julio. That, of course, fell completely flat on its face. Via the New York Times, that version of events began to unravel when prosecutors would drop felony charges against Julio, who was injured, and one of his housemates, Alfredo, who had also fled from immigration agents.
This is rare. It is rare for a local county attorney or district attorney to file charges against a federal agent for work that was conducted in the course of their duties. But this case is different, and here's why. After that happened, the 2 men were facing federal charges, but those were dropped after DHS and ICE backtracked. They said that those 2 agents were under investigation for making false statements. They distanced themselves from the investigation. They say the U.S. Attorney's Office is now investigating those agents for making false statements. So this case is rare, but there's a lot of nuance here.
They importantly wrote, video footage of the shooting, which was obtained by the outlet, raised questions about why it took so long for the government's case to fall apart. The video would contradict the agent's claim that the 3 assailants had beaten him with a shovel and a broom for about 3 minutes prior to him opening fire. Instead, the confrontation depicted in the video lasted roughly 12 seconds and shows 2 men struggling with the agent. It does not show a sustained attack with a shovel. Here's the kicker. The federal government had access to that video within hours of the shooting that took place on January the 14th, per the Minneapolis police chief. Yet prosecutors did not watch the footage, per an official, until 3 weeks after they filed charges against Julio and Alfredo. Acting AG Todd Blanche, who at one point during hearings said, "I'm the president's lawyer," in a slip-up, again, acting attorney general of the United States of America, claimed that the ICE agents lied under oath, and he even said they could be sent to prison. That is quite a remark, I must say. Julio and Alfredo can be seen in this photo that was published by the New York Times. Alfredo, an immigrant from Venezuela, was a delivery driver. The outlet would report Castro tried to seize Mr. Aljorna while he was on the ground. The men tussled until Aljorna broke free and ran into the home. Castro fired a bullet into the front door, wounding Aljorna's roommate, Julio, in the leg, according to state prosecutors. After the interaction, Castro reported that he had been beaten with the shovel and a broom, and thus he fired because he feared for his life. Unreal. Aljorna and Sosa Chelis, another Venezuelan immigrant, were initially charged with felony assault. After the video of events were scrutinized, those charges were dropped on May the 18th. Minnesota prosecutors charged Castro. Okay, let's go over a few very important points about this case. The feds are calling these charges, and I quote, a political stunt. We have seen that sort of line driven by hard-right Republicans over and over and over again. They're going to continue to say it. Tim Walz basically needs Greg Abbott's cooperation. That is why this is so incredibly frustrating. Along with the hurdles of broad immunity that ICE possess against prosecutors in state court. Thus, Castro could try and have his case seen in federal court, where he could ask for the case to be dismissed altogether. And let me just say, that is what I think he is going to do. I think they are going to try and evade accountability as much as they possibly can. And it is deeply frustrating that once more, this doesn't have to happen. We don't have to live like this. And yet here we are. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.